What's up, everyone? 2014 Toyota Corolla. So when I start my car, TPMS light is flashing. When it flashes, that indicates that there's a bad sensor or sensors. At least one sensor is not communicating. So got my scanner here. Got a transmitter ID 1 not received. Current code. And the actual code is C2121. Let's go ahead and go to the data list. Let's go to data list. Let that load up. Alright, so ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no spare tire, so 5 is going to be NA. But on ID 1, it says NA. I got pressures for my other ID 2, 3, and 4. So then what I want to do is come up to register ID code. That's my ID, and I'm gonna go to my tires with my scanner and ID the sensor. Hopefully it'll respond to me when I activate it and tell me it's ID, and then I'll know that in that wheel that's the bad sensor. So I got a list here. I marked the bad one, or the one that says is bad. So I got my little scanner that identifies sensors in the wheels. It's a Maxi TPS brand. I have this button, it's a trigger button. I'm going to trigger each sensor in the wheel. It'll identify itself. Hopefully the bad one will identify itself. That was my left front one. And it gave me its identification number right there. It's not the alleged bad one, but you know, I put a left front by it. So now I know that one's out of the equation. Here's my right front wheel. Go ahead and identify this sensor. Gave me a number, not the one that's allegedly bad, but I marked this one off as well. I put right front next to that one, so I know that one's out of the equation as well. And then my right rear wheel, same thing, and it gave me an identification number. It's the 748 number, so I can just go ahead and mark that one off. Now my left rear wheel gave me nothing. I was trying to trigger it so it will identify itself, and I'm getting nothing. I suspect this is the wheel that has a bad sensor, and I suspect that the sensor is just completely dead. I'm getting nothing, and so I'm gonna go ahead and take this wheel off and take a peek at the sensor by pushing down the tire a little bit to see if the number on there is the number assigned to tire sensor 1. It sounded like a bunch of words, but sensor 1 on here is bad, it says, and I believe this is sensor 1 right here in the left rear wheel. So if I see this number marked with green in that wheel, then I'll know that this is in fact the one with the bad sensor, and I will replace this sensor. Go ahead and get this wheel off, take it to the tire machine. I'm going to take the air out of the tire and then just kind of push the top bead of the tire down. That way I can just take a peek at the sensor to make sure that it is the right one. Go ahead and push this top bead down. And then when I'm looking in here, the number is actually worn off, like pretty worn off. I can barely see it, but it is in fact that number right there. So I got myself a new one. This is a brand new Toyota one from the dealer with a new number. I wrote the identification number down, and there's my part number on the white label. You can rewind it if you missed it, if you need it. But I'm gonna go ahead and change this sensor out, get this one out of here, and put my new one in. Now I'm kind of doing it the sneaky way. This has had some kind of, I don't know what's on here. Anyway, some old tire stuff. Got my new one. I'm gonna put this guy in, and then once I put him in, I'm going to put the wheel all back together. You know, fill the tire back up, and then put it back on the car, and then I'll program the sensor in with the other ones. So I got that sensor in. Now I'm going to go ahead and I got the wheel back on. Got it torqued down. The lug nuts are all torqued. Alright everyone, so now I got the wheel back on. I'm going to go to ID registration and register the new sensor ID. And let's see what it says. So all I got to do is type in or erase the bad one, which was 0791B5. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that one. and then type in the new one that we had that I wrote down here, which was 98822B7. So let's go ahead and hit next. Right. ID registration is complete, it says. Back on the data list, I'm looking at the ID pressures, and it might take a minute for this NA to turn into a actual reading. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes. Sometimes you go drive it, it helps it go faster. Oh, there it goes. All right, 40 psi. Let's go ahead and see if our light went out. All right, light is gone, and that's how I diagnosed, replaced the sensor, and programmed it for a Toyota Corolla, a 2014.